The Labour Party caucus has been holding a retreat in the southern Wairarapa township of Martinborough, wine country of course, where temperatures have been drifting in the 25 to 30 range. Remember, this is a triangular government, Labour, New Zealand First and the Greens. So this was a chance for Labour to discuss its particular objectives before taking them back to the melting pot of coalition government. And it was also a chance, as our political reporter May Heron told us via Live View, to take stock of progress on stated objectives for their first 100 days.
Yeah, so basically in less than 2 weeks, on Saturday the 3rd of February marks the Labour Party's 100th day in office. And it means before then they've still got a few things that they need to tick off. That means they need to detail the state of abuse inquiry in terms of what the framework of that's going to be, as well as the mental health inquiry. And they've got some legislative work to get through as well. They need to announce the changes they're going to be making to some employment legislation, as well as Jacinda Ardern's very own child poverty bill. That's where she's going to set some targets and in terms of reducing child poverty. So those things need to happen before in less than 2 weeks basically. But she's pretty confident that she can get all of that done. And then after that, they're going to start focusing on the rest of the year, what's going to happen in the other 300 days of this year. And so that's what really this caucus meeting is about. It's about trying to find out what their priorities are, and that's why they're all meeting here in Martinborough, where they're going to be discussing the priorities ahead.
Yes, looking very civilised behind you there, May, for people who are watching. It's a nice place to meet. Let's talk about those targets for the reduction of child poverty. Confusion because of the Treasury miscalculations. What was the Prime Minister saying about those targets specifically?
Well, basically she's trying to separate what the government is trying to do and what the Treasury has done here. So the Treasury has made a mistake. It has failed to properly calculate how many children will be lifted out of poverty due to Labour's package, as well as actually National's package announced last year.
Yeah.
And so the Prime Minister is saying that her targets will be separate to this, that she will be basically setting a target for the government to bring down child poverty, but it has nothing to do with what the Treasury did, which was to calculate how many children will be lifted out of poverty as a result of the numbers. And she's basically saying that her package is still good, that she reckons that people will still be lifted out of poverty, and so she's confident that what Labour has offered is still top-notch, basically.
She didn't just say it was good, she said it was bloody good, didn't she, May? I was watching it come in. She's fairly excited about this announcement, isn't she?
Yes, she is, and she's also excited about a few of the other targets that she hopes to be setting. She announced today that she's going to be replacing National's Better Public Services program, which was a whole lot of targets that National set to make public services better. She's going to be replacing those targets with some of her very own. Now, she wouldn't give us details to what those targets will include, but she did hint that they would look at something like better housing. It would also address better educational targets, and so those are expected to be announced in the next few weeks as well.
Right, 100 days is coming to an end. Of course, Labour won all the Māori seats, meaning the end of the Māori Party as a parliamentary presence. And as a reflection of this, a big Labour delegation going to Ratana, of course, and also the Prime Minister spending how long at Waitangi?
Yeah, so she's spending 5 days up in Waitangi, and she mentioned that today actually, that it was a big priority for her to be a presence in Waitangi. Obviously this is very different to what the Prime Minister Bill English did last year when he was Prime Minister. He avoided Waitangi and said it was about the entire country, and so Jacinda Ardern is being very specific here that she's going to be spending 5 days up in Waitangi, and this is her way of sending a message that this is important for her government, that Waitangi Day and the issues surrounding Waitangi Day is important for her government, and so she will be spending longer than usual for a Prime Minister there.
Right, fascinating weeks ahead, and we look forward to covering all this stuff as it happens, including the details of the child poverty announcement and what takes place at both Ratana and Waitangi. But the subject that was also being discussed, of course, May Heron, is babies, and not only the Prime Minister's impending baby, which is growing inside her as we speak, as they tend to do when women are pregnant, but also the other babies in the caucus, right, who have been there en masse.
Yes, there's been a lot of children about. There's been some backyard cricket, some crying, some screaming. But yeah, this is a chance for a lot of the Labour MPs to bring their own family members here, and so that they can get to know each other better too. So we've had Kiri Allen, her newborn there, Willow Jean Prime, Chris Hipkins, Chris Farfoy. So they've all brought their kids, and it's been a bit of a child-friendly environment here, and that's kind of what Labour is hoping that they can bring into Parliament and encourage to have in Parliament. But you're right, it's been a lot of baby talk here. Essentially, this for a lot of the MPs will be the first time since they've seen Jacinda Ardern since she announced her news last Friday, and so there were lots of hugs, lots of congratulations, lots of kisses. And again today she talked a bit about how she didn't reveal the fact that she the gender of her child during a media interview this morning, so there's still lots of discussion about it.
Our political reporter May Heron from Martinborough, which looked hot and dry earlier this afternoon.